Good evening, and welcome to the first ever episode of our brand new podcast, Broflation. That's Broflation. On this podcast, we give you tips on how to survive dating in the modern world. Because let's face it, with everything going online, it's a lot harder than it used to be back in our parents' day and our grandparents' day. So, we're going to give you all the advice that we can to help you survive and meet the one. And to go with it, we have some funny stories and with different subjects per episode. And we're going to teach you how to tackle various situations on dating apps, which is going to be our main focus. And various date fails, funny profiles we've seen, how dating apps are open to abuse, what to do if you see a fake profile, or how to detect a fake profile, even. And each week you're going to have a different topic. So before we start with this week's topic, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Davo, and a little bit of background information. I didn't date for 12 years. I never actually had a relationship in my adult life until recently. And it was because I was too scared to converse with women, and I was shy, lacked confidence, and ultimately didn't think I was good enough. But after a few messy nights out with the lads, I decided ultimately, well, I'm not getting any younger. I want to settle down, start a family. And also having a partner with me would sort of take me away from, the really dodgy nights out, which didn't end very well. So now, without further ado, I'm going to go on to this week's focus, which is making a dating profile online. So with these apps, they give you so many tools, which are at your disposal, to really make yourself stand out from the crowd, and you have so many options to make a very complete and wholesome profile. You can sort of write a biography, you can put pictures on there, sync your social media, add your Spotify playlist, so you can really show yourself off. But my first piece of advice, and I think it's the most important thing, is to be yourself. Don't try and be someone you're not just to impress someone, because ultimately you want the person to like you for who you are. And otherwise, you're just going to be trying really hard to live someone else's life, and you're not going to be able to keep up that appearance. And eventually, you'll get found out, and the person will not really know who they're dating. They won't sort of understand you, and you sort of would have deceived them. And ultimately, you're going to do yourself a disservice because you're going to feel uncomfortable trying to be something you're not. Another thing I would suggest is keeping your profile short and sweet. Don't be too shady, don't be vague, but write a biography. Tell people who you are, what you enjoy doing, and the type of relationship you're looking for. You can even say what you do for work, but leave it at that. Don't go beyond that. You don't want loads of paragraphs, otherwise, the viewer's just going to get bored and swipe left, move on to the next profile. And something else you want to do is make it as legitimate as possible. So you want multiple clear pictures. One picture is not enough because that's already a red flag that your profile could be fake, even though it's not. But that's the impression you give. You want the pictures to be clear and recent, so people know exactly who they're seeing. I know looks aren't everything, but the person wants to be physically attracted to you. So if you look different in your photos as to how you look in real life, because maybe you've used filters or it's an old photo of when you were skinnier, fatter, or more muscular, different hair color, then people are going to ask questions. They're going to think you're trying to hide something and not think you're very honest, and that's a bit of a turn off. You also want a picture of yourself at the top so people know who you are. I see profiles where there are multiple pictures of there are pictures of multiple people, and you don't know who it is on the profile who you're looking at. So, for me personally, I've always swiped left and avoided these profiles because the person, it could be the person you're not attracted to in that photo, whose profile it is and who you could be meeting. So it's okay to have photos with your friends, but as long as most of your photos are just of you, then that will be sufficient. And that's how you're more likely to get traffic to your profile and also get verified. All you got to do is take a quick selfie. It's very hard for someone to steal your profile, and as long as you're verified, it's very unlikely that the profile is going to It's going to be a fake profile, and people are going to trust you more. And it leads me on to my next point. Be honest. Don't lie about anything. Otherwise, people won't trust you. Don't even lie about your age, your height, your location. Otherwise, people will think, well, what's he going to lie about next? And you just push potential matches away. Don't be too secretive. People want to know a bit about you. Show yourself off. So if you have an option to write a biography or include some written prompts, don't shy away from it. But I mean, you don't have to reveal your life story because then you'll come across as too keen and sort of in your face. You don't really want that. You want to sort of go into things slowly, not rush into it, and get to know someone. As well, be original with your profile. Make it unique so that you stand out from the crowd. I mean, don't. There's ways to stand out, not by being a prat. So just something light-hearted. What I can't bear is the most common written prompts and biographies where someone will write most irrational fear, sharks in the swimming pool. I mean, it just makes you boring. You're not original, and you're just copying other people. It shows you're not your own person. You're not an individual, and they could be dating anyone, so you don't really stand out from the crowd. Um, as well, you want to be humble. No one likes an arrogant person. You see people saying, "Yeah, I've got my shit together. I've got the job, the perfect job. I've got the perfect life. I've got a house and whatever," showing off everything. But the one thing that's missing, they don't have a partner, so their life isn't perfect. That's why they're on this app. Whether if they're so perfect, they shouldn't even have to go on a dating app to meet someone. Everyone should be running after them, but that's clearly not the case. So deep down they've got low self-esteem, and you kind of expose yourself when you do that. So be modest. It's okay to say what you do for work, but and show off a hidden talent, but don't sort of put too much emphasis on it. And that should not define you as a person. Your personal traits and qualities is what should define you, and that's what you want people to be attracted to. um, as well, don't be too self-centered. Whilst it's good to tell people about your life, it's good to show an interest in learning about other people's interests and what other people like. So, for instance, put out there an interesting question. Ask the person what they think about a particular topic or a particular view. Something, it can be controversial. It doesn't. It can be something that really off the clock, and that way people are more likely to engage with your profile and respond to your prompts. That's if they don't like your pictures. So it actually shows if they'll think you're an interesting person. They'll want to talk to you. They'll want to answer you, and that gets the conversation going. It kind of gets the ball rolling. People say dating apps are all about looks, but if your written content is good enough, you can actually attract people that way as well. And you want to appeal to as many different audiences as possible to give yourself a chance of getting more matches, because ultimately it's a numbers game. So the more the merrier. You're not going to date every single person you match with, so you want as many, you know, different people as possible. And they say that you want someone who's very similar to you, but actually, if you show that you're like a chameleon, you can adapt and appeal to different people from different walks of life, then you actually would be surprised the people who you meet who you will actually find interesting and you'll want to date, even if they haven't got the same hobbies and interests. And you know what they say, opposites attract. So you want as many matches as possible, because it's a numbers game. So don't close the door and don't just say, well, I'm only interested in one thing. Be open. Say that you're willing to try different things, and that will go a long way. Something that's really off-putting is a person with a very negative outlook on their profile. So people who say red flags that I look out for in their prompts, and the do's and don'ts. Don't say hi, how are you, or don't start a conversation with whatever, because it's kind of very restrictive. And someone like me, I would feel like I'm treading on eggshells if I saw that person's profile, and I wouldn't want to say anything to them because they just bite my head off. So be positive, show that you enjoy life, and that way people will be attracted to you, because no one wants to be around someone who gives off negative energy and makes it's very draining, and you don't know what to say to that person. It makes you very nervous. So don't be negative. And something I would recommend is syncing your social media with your profile just to make sure that it's legitimate, because it will show pictures of you doing things and pictures of you with friends and other people. So it sort of reaffirms that your profile is real and that you've not stolen anyone's social media account, because it's very difficult for someone to hack into your social media and sync it with their dating profile. I've come across many fake profiles, and none of them have yet managed to successfully do that. So, I mean, what I'm not suggesting, you do not put your Instagram name on your profile. When you sync it, it doesn't show your Instagram name on a lot of these apps. It just shows some of your pictures from your social media, like Facebook or anything else. Because if you put your Instagram name on your profile or in your prompts, people just think you're after followers, fame, or punters for your business or something. And if you're in it for reasons other than relationships or dating, if you just want to boost your following and you want a bit of you want compliments, you want attention, then you shouldn't even be on a dating app. You should be elsewhere, because it's not fair on the people who take dating seriously. So don't put your Instagram name on there, because it looks like you're advertising something. Um, so that's as far as I'd go. Because I've had people do that, and I asked someone who liked my profile on one of the apps, why do you have your Instagram name for your business on your profile? And she tried to fob me off and say it's so people don't ask me what I do for work. They can look it up on Instagram, and it's rude to ask a woman what they do for work. Well, I've never heard that before. I've heard some people say it's rude to ask a woman their age, but nothing quite like that. And then she suggested I'm not in it for fame or more followers, because I don't have that many followers. Well, that's kind of a contradiction in a way, because if you don't have that many followers, surely you're going to be after more. But I digress. So the key takeaways, I think, is to make your profile bespoke, be yourself, and make it unique. So what makes you stand out? What makes you different from other people? And you want the person to get to know you, because ultimately, you shouldn't have to change your life and the way that you live for someone else. The person should accept you for who you are. You want to make your profile as wholesome as possible. Use all the tools that are out there. So you can add videos, pictures, voice recordings, really show yourself off so people know what you sound like. And it sort of gives them a better idea, and it allows them to learn more about you. And provides different talking points for conversation. It really makes it easy. It should, in theory, be a lot easier than meeting someone in person, where you just look at them. How do you know anything about them? They don't have a sign or placard next to them telling them about their life and what their interests are and their stats and their religion, ethnicity, job, and what have you. These dating apps, it's all there. So you can look at someone's job, you can look at a picture of them doing something and say, oh, that looks quite interesting. Tell me a little bit more about that. So there's really a lot of room to go, and you can make great conversation. So, follow these tips, because ultimately it's going to bring more traffic to your profile. People find you more interesting as well. And, have a positive outlook. And it's make it exciting. You don't want a boring profile, otherwise people are just going to skip it. And it's not all about looks. So that's something I want to stress as well. But anyway, next week's podcast or episode is going to be about how to get matches on a dating app and what to do once you've matched someone. Thank you so much for listening to our first ever episode of Broflation. We look forward to the next one, and have a good evening, everyone.